I've got a customer to pick up tomorrow, and it's one of those where it could take 4 or 5 hours to get down here, and therefore 4 or 5 hours to get back again. And I didn't really fancy that, so I thought I'd come down this evening and book into this rather lovely 3-star Premier Inn with my own shower and bed and everything else you need. And yes, it should be a decent night's sleep. I just tried the bed out, by the way. It's rather comfy, so that's all good. Anyway, let's have a look what we got in the chat at the moment, shall we? Julie Baldwin, London bus explosion. 5 electric buses go up in a fireball. Smoke seen for miles. It happened at Potter's Bar. I did see that on the way down here, actually. Something about a rather large explosion at a bus depot, and that was the headline at least. I didn't see what was actually causing it. Tracy Regan, hello to you, and Alan Pape as well. I see you in the chat. I nipped on before I came live just to say hello to everybody. I will warn you, folks, that I'm connected to the hotel Wi-Fi here and streaming using their service, and hopefully this will be stable and hopefully it will work and we'll all be connected. But if it does fail for any reason, then I do apologise. Then we'll have to see what happens. My voice might sound low, blood nose, because I'm in a large room rather than a small car, and the distance between me and my phone is about that much, so I might fade in and out a little bit. Hello Fuzzy Doxy and Trevor as well, John the Manchester man, hello to all of you. It's good to see you all, and welcome to here on a Sunday night. And I've got an overnight stay here. Andy, the dinghy diver, the Gabby Cabby, had to throw that joke in, as it usually only dinghy divers at hotels nowadays. Well, yes, I was pleasantly surprised to get a space down here, but I think I'm far enough out the way that the dinghy divers don't really give it a second thought unless Her Majesty's government put them up here. Where are we? John Harris, hello to you. Hope you're well. I saw everybody in the chat relatively quickly. Derek Owen, good to see you. I can't believe you've not seen the door card light switch before. Laugh out loud. Derek Owen says, if I told you the last time I actually stayed in a Premier Inn, you wouldn't believe it. It was years ago. And funnily enough, I actually came down this neck of the woods that time as well, probably a bit further over the other side. It was Bristol, because I had to pick someone up from Bristol Airport and decided to come up the day before as I did now. And that was a few years ago. And it was, I think it was actually a bed and breakfast near the airport I stayed in that time, and not a Premier Inn. But no, I've never seen the door card power thing before. It said insert here for power. And I went and put the thing there, and the lights came on, and I thought, "Hey, we have power!" And then walked off, and it all went dark again. And I suddenly realised there's a slot, and I had to find the slot, pardon the pun, and got that in. So that's all right. Some who were told about Rwanda have said they now want to go home. That proves our economic migrants. It certainly does, Julie Baldwin. It certainly does. The question is, did they know about it before they came over, or were they just chancing their arm? But that's bloody funny. Andy, do you put the cost of a hotel on the price of the taxi ride? Yes, I do usually. I make sure it's covered. What I do, I charge a certain mileage rate, and then I think about any extras, John, which might be added on. And in this case, where this lady that I'm getting tomorrow was taken down to where she is on Friday. It was literally like a long weekend's holiday. We don't usually account for hotels there because you can take the person to where they're going, drive back, and if you get tired, you can always pull over and kip in the car. But obviously, if I'm bringing a passenger home, that won't look very professional. So I opted to come down and stop in a hotel overnight. I thought that would be the wisest thing to do because I didn't really fancy it. I mean, the driver that took her down here said it took about 5 hours to get here, and it took me nearly 5. There was a big, accident on the M25 this afternoon. somewhere up near Reigate, I think, and it was all shut off. There was a car that was in flames and two more in the central reservation. So it was a big bust up, and I hope everybody was okay and nobody got seriously hurt because of it. But yeah, I don't usually get these kinds of jobs, this kind of long distance thing a lot, but when I do, I don't mind doing them when they come in. But I'm primarily airports really, and that's what we do. But yeah, interesting. I'm only probably 20 minutes from where she is, and I actually realised I'm probably another 20 minutes close near my auntie's house because she lives in I think Birdlip near Gloucestershire somewhere, and I realised where I was when I drove past hers. So there you go. I did the Premier in. I mean, they had these lovely menu things here. Look at that. I mean, excuse the backwards writing, but look at that lovely fry up there. And then, yes, this is mouth-watering stuff. I might have to go and investigate that in the morning and see what happens. I didn't actually book in for breakfast or anything like that when I came down here, but you never know. I mean, I got a sandwich. And I got a Snickers bar, a couple of these, complete junk food, and just for one night only, I bought two of these. Cheers. I thought I'd have a couple of those while I was sat here and get an early night, and it'll be good for the morning. Anyway, I'm going to go to the chat before we talk news stuff and see what's happening. Sharon Shooter, good evening to you. A long way off, Andy. Hereford is a lovely place to be. About an hour's drive from here, Lisa Farr. Okay, so I'm fairly near you. Best of luck. You must like a challenge, Christine is. Hi, Andy, and everyone in the chat. That's M. Perry. Good to see you. Despite people thinking Ascot is posh, trust me, it's not. Seems to be the chav overflow from Windsor and Slough. I drove past Windsor on the way here. It's linked to your credit card too, maybe, Derek Owen says. Well, I paid for the room, Derek, online last night when I was at home. Lenny Henry has just walked past your window. I tell you what, those adverts Lenny Henry does with the beds and everything, I just tested mine out. It's bloody comfortable, it really is. I might sink into that and have a decent night's kip. Picking up a young lady and booking a hotel room. Hope the wife knows. Yes, thank you, Sharon, for that. Andy, check the PowerPoints near the bed. I had to use extension lead last time I stayed at Premier Inn / sleep machine. Yes. No, it should be all right. There's one right underneath the table, but thank you for that piece of advice. I appreciate that. Hi, Mum. See you in the chat. Hope you've had a good day with what you were doing. Jane Griffiths as well. Good to see you. And Michael Lawrence. You know, we get loads of people in the community here. It's wonderful. Chrissy Williams, good to see you in Dingy Diver Land down there. And I hope you're all right and having a good day. John Harris, not sure. I might pop up on there. I've got a couple of bits of work I've got to do when I finish with you guys. Just some stuff I should have done this morning when I was at home. And I had to get my wife to email me some information so I could get some work done while I'm out and about. Keep myself busy. I've got a bloody great flat screen telly right above my head, and look, you even get your own remote control as well. I just had a quick flip through the channels, and to say there's sweet FA on is an understatement. There was an old John Wayne film on the telly, you know, get off your horse and drink your milk. But apart from that, I really haven't got a clue. Hi, Jean. Hope you had a good birthday. It's Jane Griffiths. Christine is, I don't get why hotels don't at least put a microwave in the rooms, as in the USA when I was there, all of them had microwaves, so you could cook something hot at least. Yeah, that would be an idea. But what they had a bottle opener. I couldn't believe it. That was wonderful. I mean, I bought a thing with me. I bought cider thing in a bottle and a cider thing in a can. And I thought, shit, I haven't got a bottle opener. I thought it was going to be the old desk job, but they had one in the room, so that was nice. Listen, everybody, this is the Daily Chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby. Welcome if you just joined us. We're live from somewhere near Hereford this evening, staying in a Lenny Henry special, the old Premier Inn, and hope you're doing all right. If you haven't done so already, please can I ask you to give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that. And if you're new to Andy the Gabby Cabby, please consider subscribing as well. And I thank you for all your support. All of the folks that you see in the chat with a little emblem next to their name are all the channel members. They're the ones that financially support the channel by chipping in £1 a month for the Gabby Cabby Coke Fund, or in the case of this evening, a nice can of Strongbow. And I appreciate all your support as well, all the commenters and everyone that contributes in a good way to the channel. And it's very much appreciated. So thank you, everybody. Now, I was looking at a couple of bits of news, you know. I mean, what I do, I've got the old tablet here. I brought this with me as well. Keep me occupied and I can do some work. And I often look at what's going on with the news, right? And as we get saturated with a load of shit, don't we? And the trick is to pull apart what really matters and what doesn't, and report on what's going on. I mean, I'm getting sick to death of what's the Ukrainian situation. I mean, I pulled up a website. Okay, I'm back. Yes, I'm back. Can everybody just kind of confirm that I'm here and you can see me? Can you give me a 1 in the chat? If you can hear me. It was a similar thing to what happened yesterday. The flaming update service come on when I was in mid-flow, and I got rid of me. So I'm either going to have to update it, or I'm going to have to do something else. But this time around it gave me the opportunity to resume things, so that was all right. Yes, as I was saying, Ukraine, I'm getting sick of it. I went online earlier and there was a sponsored ad with Zelensky, bitching and whining, saying that they want compensation and all the rest of it. And okay, I get the whole thing. I really do. But then I see another advert about, veterans and homeless in this country being hard done by, and I thought to myself, no, this doesn't ring true. This, crazy. And I saw this article, right? I mean, let me show you a picture of these two. I mean, get this up there. See, these two look like sweethearts, yes. Well, the lovely blonde lady there is Ukrainian. And up until fairly recently, the fella whose name is Tony Garnett, Garnett, I don't know if he's a relation to Alf, was with somebody else. And he suddenly decided that he wanted to help and host a Ukrainian refugee. And what's basically happened, he dumped his partner for this Ukrainian refugee. She came over, Sophia her name is, according to the press. And again, is there truth in this or isn't there? And she played silly buggers. Basically, when he was out at work during the day, she was mooching around with no makeup and just very dreary and everything else. And as soon as he turned up, she put the old slap on her boat race, walking around in low cut tops and everything else, and effectively stole him from her other half, her long-term partner, and she's absolutely devastated. I mean, here's another picture of them here, Miss Ukrainian person, and him as well, and there's kids involved and everything else. And is this a consequence of what's what's occurring. I mean, the news article doesn't really go into, what he does for a living, what he can offer. It's just the fact that he was set up with this lady, Lorna Garnett. So the fact they share the same name, I assume they're married. She's 28, he's 29, and there's a couple of kids involved. And she's saying that she set her sights on him from the start. Moved in, literally moved in, and she tried to kick her out, Sophia, and he basically said, "Well, if she goes, I go," and they both moved out. And this literally happened over the course of 10 days. Love's young dream, Ukraine and Britain. I wonder how many other occurrences there is of this happening everywhere else, but it's just an absolute crying shame, to be honest, that it can break up a relationship like that. I mean, wasn't it right to begin with, or was this woman such a charmer that she just took him away? I don't get it. I mean, she's reasonably attractive, I suppose, but you are who you're with. I really don't understand that. But this Lorna must be absolutely devastated. They're both from Bradford in West Yorkshire. I'm just trying to glean what else, and it's that's the way of it. Disgusting, really. Absolutely disgusting. And meanwhile, they still go on about giving billions of pounds of aid and everything else over there. It really isn't great. Julie Baldwin mentioned this earlier. Yes, buses on fire after huge explosion at London's transport depot. I've just found it online as she's mentioned it. There's a picture of it there. You can see the buses, and Julie said that they're electric. Now there's the thing, isn't it? Electric fireballs. At least 4 buses caught fire in London after a huge explosion at a transport depot. Video showed an inferno engulfing a number of vehicles at a Metro Line bus garage. So, they're all together. I suppose one cooks off, the rest will, won't they? And I have to wonder whether, it was a problem with the batteries or something else. There's an eyewitness here, Sean Cunningham, said that it sounded like a jet when they went off, boom, that kind of thing. It must have been quite loud. Luckily, no injuries confirmed. One worker at the site did not want to be named, suggested that the fire was extremely close to fuel lines that could have caused further explosions. So that's lucky. They could have been nasty. I mean, when I went to come here today, I saw this thing on the M25 today where there was a car on fire in the side of the road, and it looked very nasty. But it looks like they put it out very quickly. But I can imagine buses are, another kettle of fish. I mean, here's another picture here, and you can see that really large puff of smoke going up into the atmosphere. It's crazy. I mean, these are supposed to save the environment. Look at all that black crap flying into the air. It's amazing no one was hurt. Hertfordshire Police tweeted, "We're currently in attendance. Please avoid the area," and so on and so on and so on. But I noticed that this article that I'm reading doesn't actually specify how these buses are powered, which I find very interesting. Now, Julie, when she mentioned it to me, actually said that they were electric or electric type buses. So yes, it's very, very telling. Very telling. Now, if they are electric, how did they blow up? And what caused it? Was it a fault in the batteries? Was it heat? Was it something else? It's it's one of those mysteries we'll have to find out. I mean, electric batteries are a fallacy anyway in cars because, and buses, because we know that the replacement cost of them is pretty bad altogether. along with the cost of living. We just can't afford it, really. It's absolutely nuts. I'm going to go to the chat just for a second and see who we've got. Welcome, everybody. If you've just joined us, we've got a nice number of people in here now. This is the Daily Chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby. I'm coming to you live from Hereford or nearby in a Premier Inn, courtesy of Lenny Henry. Thank you very much, and very comfortable seat. If you haven't done so already, please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that, and we'll be able to get the algorithm talking about us. If you haven't done so already and you're a new viewer to Andy the Gabby Cabby, please consider subscribing as well. Again, that's free to do, and again, it helps the channel grow. And I'm coming to you live from a hotel room tonight rather than the normal car or normal cab, which is parked outside in the car park round the corner. And I didn't forget to put the number in to make sure I don't get some silly fine in the morning. But never you mind. Anyway, let's have a look what people have got to say. Jerry Georgopoulos, hello to you. Christine, get to the chopper. Yeah, exactly. Irish buses always break down, just like the Titanic and those DeLorean cars, Tommy Moore. Christ. Yes. Hit the like button, do it now and stop whining, laugh out loud. Yeah, do it now. Yeah, that's my lousy thing. Mike Alligators, the cars are fine. I drove down here in the minibus Tornio, the usual thing, and the Mercedes is at home, and I've got my wife to turn the engine over because I forgot. Fuzzy Doxy, 20 grand for a Tesla battery. That's nuts, isn't it? I have no idea how much a full Tesla is, I must admit. Where are we? Hello, Edgar Lee. Good to see you. The Express says that they were electric buses. Well, there you go. Ukraine, such a dangerous place. Why are all the world leaders having guided tours without bulletproof? Very good point, Tony Whitworth. I mean, I never forget that picture of Boris walking with him next to him in a whistle and flute, and it was like he was walking down the streets of Westminster without a bloody care in the world. Yeah, I smell large rats, a bit like giving them monkeys, but that's another one entirely. And I got a very interesting message this evening from a chap I know regarding the old monkey thing, and all I will say is look into it. I'm not surprised with what he said. I'm not surprised at all, and I do wonder whether they'll try and make a big thing of it in due course, but we'll see. Hello, Seth78, Lucinda, Steve Cold. I never know how to pronounce your name there, but I hope I've got it right. But hello to you. Paul Hoskin, wait for ages for a bus to catch fire, then they all catch fire at once. It's a bit like waiting for them, isn't it? You get the same trouble. Christine Ayres, e-cars are a con. You have to lease the battery for 100 quid a month before you even buy the car. Yeah, damn right. What's the bloke's name called? Butler. Yeah, I hate you, Butler. Yeah, I know that one. Hello, Jody. Good to see you. Were they hybrid buses? Yeah, I think they were, or electric. Okay, that's all right. Hello, Neats. Good to see you. James Carney, life goes on in love and war. Absolutely. Well, you know, this poor lady that had her other half nicked off her by this Ukrainian girl, I hope she finds happiness with somebody else. And, you know, may a plague of something or other do you know what. We'll have to see what happens. Angela Dallimore, they deserve each other. If it had not been for Ukraine, it would have been another France, Spain, etc. Yeah, absolutely. Wife needs me to do something. See you all later. Have a very nice end to your weekend. You too, Bloodnose, and thanks for stopping by. People will do anything for a passport. You could be right there, John Harris. In fact, you probably are, definitely. Pet Shop Boys, Ukrainian girls really knock you out. They leave the West behind. Quick worker, yeah. You know, you've all got the same opinion there of him, haven't you? It's mad. You know, this cost of living thing is really biting everybody. I see all these plebs in Parliament. I think Boris is quietly shitting himself that he could lose future elections because they could have been perceived to have made a pig's arsehole of it, and everybody's scratching their heads how they're going to pay for things. I mean, I looked on a website last night for this room that I'm staying in this evening, and I was expecting it to be a lot more than it actually was, and I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, I'll be honest, it was a touch over 50 quid for a night, so not terribly bad, all things considered, and a nice bed to sleep in. But I often wonder about folks in the chat, folks everywhere. Those of you that are on benefits of any kind, low income, and how you're going to afford to pay for things. I mean, I have a fairly successful taxi business. I work hard for a living, and we do all right. But I look at some of the bills coming in, and I think, how the fuck are we going to? And some people are worse off than me. Some people are the same. Some people are rolling in money, and I think, when are they going to help? When are they going to do something? And I really don't think they are. I really don't think they give two fucks, to be honest. Now, one of the people I often look at is Martin Lewis. I lived on my own for a period of time, and I could tell you a few stories about that. In a flat in Westbrook, which is a little bit outside Margate, and my life situation was such that I got myself deep in shit and had to get myself out of it. So I did a lot of learning and a lot of shuffling around and everything else. And I actually read a lot of what Martin Lewis says about saving money and credit cards and Consumer Credit Act, and that's where a lot of my knowledge comes from. And I did a video a few days back where he called Ofgem a fucking disgrace, and then he apologised for it on Twitter. I'm sorry, Martin, don't apologise. If you say it and mean it, why apologise? I totally agree with you. They are a fucking disgrace. The water boards, again, the petrol companies, all massive profits, and we are suffering. We are struggling to make ends meet. And it's disgusting. I mean, a pint of milk up 50%, a loaf of bread up 50%, all the staples of our diet. And you look at the situation with Russia and Ukraine, they're starting talking about rationing cooking oil, and you've got wheat trouble, and it's nuts. And I saw this thing about Martin Lewis, and he's always got all the answers to everything, hasn't he? How to save money, how to make more money out of the money you've got and everything else. And with this cost of living crisis, he's actually said he's out of ideas. He doesn't know what to do. And that really alarms me quite considerably, because, he always knows all the best deals and all of the other things, and sticks his nose in everything to do with consumer rights and prices and everything else. And I see this thing here. Martin Lewis reveals 15 best tips to survive the cost of living crisis. I mean, it probably applies to everybody, really. I mean, some of this is shocking, really, that we're actually reduced to this, but some of it might be, very relevant. He's given this list of things to consider, and at the same time, he says he's virtually out of ideas, although he has a few more tricks up his sleeve. But the government have got to do something. They'll fight an election on it. We had Jeremy Hunt. Sorry, I nearly had a Freudian slip there, a bit like George Bush talking about invasions. You had Jeremy Hunt talking about how he would have done things differently 2 years ago. And then you're going to find sooner or later they'll all be tripping over themselves about how wonderful they can make our lives if we vote for them, and they'll have no intention of doing any of it. But Martin seems to think that civil unrest could be round the corner, because we're all pissed off with the choice of putting food on the table or heating our homes. It's crazy. I mean, I'll read you these tips in a minute, but before I do, just want to say thank you to everybody this evening who is here and listening to Andy the Gabby Cabby, little old me from the Premier Inn in the middle of nowhere. If you haven't done so already, please give the chat a like. We only need about 13 more now to 100 likes, which is the minimum I usually like to get. It's, it doesn't cost you anything, only a second to push the button. I think I even pushed my own button as well. If you haven't done so already and you're new to the channel completely and only just started watching, please consider subscribing as well. That all helps. Get the numbers up. We're floating around 30,600, give or take. We kind of had a big jump and then stopped again. All the folks that you see in the chat with a little emblem shape next to their name are all the channel members who financially support the channel and just give £1 a month just to fuel the old Coke and, well, tonight, Strongbow habit. There's no commitments to that. It's just a token gesture, and you get thanks from the bottom of my heart, basically, and the odd additional piece of content here and there. There's a really nice video there entitled Henry VIII, and it gives you a little history lesson, which you might want to listen to if you'll remember. I thought I'd do a bit of the old troll baiting with that one, and wonder if I wound them up, but there you go. Anyway, back to this. Martin Lewis's survival guide. Now we're all in equal amounts of shit. His first one, heat the human, not the home. I mean, we've all got gas and electricity that's rising through the roof, haven't we? Some people, I mean, you had Suzanne with that bloody pensioner Elsie or whatever her name was, and just threw a figure out that, it tugged on the emotional heartstrings, and I'll admit I fell for it, but when you look at the specifics and the mathematics of the problem, it didn't make any sense. But genuinely, people are in genuine need, and we're having trouble. He's saying heat the human guide, and I think he's referring to getting electric blankets and powered socks and wrap yourself up in a duvet and all this business and turn the heat off. Now, all right, I get it. I get the premise of it. There's a lady here, Megs, her name is, and she's saying she invested in a heated blanket to use at her desk, and it cost 2p a day to run, far cheaper than heating and so cosy. And there's various others as well. But the problem is here, if you take the heat out of a home, cold will start to set in. And with cold, you get damp. And with damp, you get respiratory problems, problems in the foundations of the building, rising damp in the walls. I get it, but come on. We've got to decide how we're going to tackle this properly. It's all well and good sitting there with an electric blanket in your house on your own sofa, but it's not an ideal solution, is it? We have little pockets, don't we, of people all over the country having a moan about this. We have a community here, having a moan about things like this, but there's not a big enough, loud enough bang or voice all in the same place, is there? That appears to be the trouble to me, and maybe that'll change. Pension credit. I don't know. I know there's a lot of you on here that are probably getting your old age pension, but my mother-in-law gets pension credit. I mean, she's 80 something. I won't tell you her age. She'll slap me when she sees me. But she gets pension credit, and it's a top up for the over 75s. It gives a nice boost up. 16 million people are out of contract on their broadband and mobile and could halve their bills. And he's got a comparison thing on his website where you can see, the different deals and where you can save things. And apparently anybody that's having trouble, getting food for reasonable prices, there's a food and drink sharing app called Olio. I've never heard of that one. And it offers leftover food for free So instead of binning stuff, people in the community save their leftover food and give it out to people in the community that are struggling. So that's Olio, Olio. And there's also introductory offers with Gusto and Hello Fresh as well. I take it those things you could take advantage of the offer and then cancel it afterwards. Where are we? Yeah, yeah. So there's all things like that. And of course, we've got council tax rebates, the £150 rebate. Let's have a show of hands in the chat. Actually, uh, give me a one if you've had your council tax rebate yet. And thank you, Alan Edge. I like the knock jokes to do with Jack. It wouldn't at all surprise me if the little sod jumped in my boot and followed me down here. 4 of you, 5. 6. So there's a few of you there saying you've had your council tax rebates. I'm still waiting for mine. Yeah, and there's also in October what they call the loan but not a loan, where they're going to credit 200 quid against the cost of your gas and electricity bills. Yeah, that's a loan. Let's face it, 'cause they want it back. If you've got kids, you can get £1,000 in help towards childcare costs, but that's only childcare costs. Am I correct, Andy? The council stop folk growing veg in their gardens. I'm not sure, David. I mean, my old man's got a veggie patch. He has had for years, and he's never had any problem. I remember a story once whereby somebody tried to grow veg at the bottom of their garden and got told to shift it because I think they were doing it over a public pathway or something like that, but I've not heard that one. Free water saving gadgets. Water firms are handing out gadgets for more water efficiency. I can't say I've ever tried those things. I mean, there's simple tricks, isn't there? Like with the toilet, the old saying, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. Yeah, tell me about it. Just flush the bloody loo. Healthy Start vouchers for pregnant women with a child under 4 and on benefits. They can be used to buy milk and formula and fruit and veg. That's good. Petrolprices.com. You can find cheaper fuel if there's such a thing these days. You can get an NHS prescription prepayment certificate to try and bring the cost down if you're on regular meds. And get tactical with your oven and washing machine. There's a new one. Fewer loads if at all possible. I mean, my washing machine gets a battering in my house. And try and think about your cooking as well. Check if you're in too high a council tax band. I know you can get your band adjusted and potentially get a rebate of thousands, and there is a procedure online to do that on his website. I noticed my mum said that she doesn't qualify for a council tax rebate, and I think it's only certain bands of houses which are entitled. I forget what the band is. I'd have to look it up. There's a downshift challenge. Basically, don't be a brand snob, and instead of Heinz, get Aldi's, and that sort of thing. Cut out the coupons and various household hacks like cutting dishwasher tablets in half and that sort of thing. So I think, I'll give the guy his dues. He's really, really trying to help, and there's some useful things in there. If you just look at or Google Martin Lewis 15 ways to save money, that comes up, and the actual picture on the article is that one there. So hopefully that will give a clue. I mean, it's very relevant to people who've got a few quid. Steal stuff is a good tip. I like that, Lee. It's very relevant to people who have got a few quid and, still struggling a bit. Those of you on benefits that can't quite make ends meet or got kids and it's a bit of a struggle. It's very very telling. Another tip I got told earlier with fuel, if you drive, I don't know if you've got a Costco anywhere near you, but there's a friend of mine paid 170 a litre for Costco fuel the other day. That's the cheapest I've heard for a long time. So it might be worth signing up to them as well. But there's plenty of it, plenty of the advice around if you know where to look for it, really. But that is that. Everybody that's in the chat, welcome to the chat, and hope you're okay. Thank you for joining me tonight. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button on the chat. I see we're over 100 already, and that's pretty cool, and I appreciate all the support. And please make sure you subscribe as well. I don't know if anybody shares the videos around, but you know, if you feel of mine, please do in your social media circles, and let's try and get those numbers up and get the view figures up as well. I appreciate that. I mean, one of the things I'm finding ridiculous at the moment is the way the media are trying to scare us. I mean, this is another one. I'm not going to read this out. I mean, I may as well, but I don't know if you see that. It might be backwards. The old monkeys, the pox of you kind of thing, and I'm trying to be cryptic. Anyone who has sex with multiple people. So it's a bit like that bloke who's ran off with the Ukrainian. You have to be very careful, you see. You can get the old monkey whatsits. They're really trying to ram it down our throat, and I'm seeing more and more. Just go away. Just stop trying to bloody scare us with everything. It's nuts. It really is crazy. And monkey nuts, Alan Edge. You've got it. Don't make love to a monkey, Sharon Shooter says. Yes. Either that or put a bag over, you know. I mean, you're getting pictures like this. I mean, you know, do fuck off is what I say. That looks like someone scraped their knuckles across the floor, but that's apparently what happens when you got it and get rid of it. Not very nice. You know, mad. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, Yes, here's one that caught my eye earlier. Yeah. Veterans slipping through the net as living cost crisis leads to spike in homelessness. You know, we've got a pandemic of our own, haven't we, in this country? Veterans, they're not being looked after properly. And you know, they're homeless for whatever reason. They come out of the army or Navy or Air Force. Honesty and truth, see you later. Cheers for stopping by. They come out of the army, Navy or Air Force, and they're basically left to their own devices. And where you take the routine of the military away from them, they're just boom. And you know, it's disgraceful. You have people like Jim Davidson, for example, who set up his charities to try and do something to help them. He's very, very big into the veterans, isn't he? And you know, apart from that, what help do they get? And we're very busy giving our money away to other countries, one in particular at the moment, and this kind of thing really disgusts me beyond belief. Let's see what else we've got. There was one more thing I wanted to show you. I think this Wi-Fi is slowing up a bit now, a bit like me. Late at night. Yes. This is another thing which we'll cover last, and I noticed this earlier. Do you remember the Manchester terror attack, where obviously that fruit and nutcase walked into the arena, and we know what happened next? Would you believe it's 5 years ago all that happened? I mean, look at these now. Look at these faces here, all young, innocent people gone. Because of some sick maniac who went there wanting to kill people. Church bells were tolled at midday, and you know, it was a day of remembrance. And also, it's been you know, a while since, you know, the thing happened with Lee Rigby too. It's these people that need remembering and trying to make sure that that sort of thing never happens again. Yeah, Lee Rigby. I mean, I remember that day as if it was yesterday. And again, young innocents that just, snuffed out like that. Uh, I mean, I listed the victims here. Safi Rose, Sorrel, Eldie, Neil, Olivia, Megan, Georgina, Liam, Courtney, John, Martin, Kelly, Angelica, Elaine, Michelle, Alison, Wendy. Now, apart from half a dozen, maybe, all of that list of teenagers. I mean, one of them, Safi, 8 years old. The mind boggles. My own son is 8 years old, and you have your life snuffed out like that. It's awful. I mean, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. 8 out of that list, 9 if you include Safi, all teenagers, haven't even lived their lives yet. It's disgusting, and we need to remember them and hold them in memory. And collectively, we need to try and find a way of this not happening again. I'm seeing dinghy diver messages in the chat, and it's very relevant. And they've been caught out chucking their phones in the channel. Who are they? Where are they coming from? What are their intentions? Hostile or other? We need to find these things out. The Rwandan thing's bullshit. It really is. And what is our country coming to? I have to wonder. Right, folks, I'm going to wrap up for the evening. I've got a little bit of work to do, and got to try and find something decent on the telly. I don't know whether I'll be able to do that or not, but there you go. I want to thank you all for joining me this evening, and I appreciate your company on a Sunday night. I think Alex does a 9 o'clock thing on YouTube now on a Sunday night, doesn't he? I think he's relented and going on there. So those of you that subscribe to him as well, I suppose you've got that afterwards. If you haven't done so already, give me a thumbs up before you go, and I'll appreciate that. And also, if you're new to the channel as well, please make sure you subscribe. Thank you to all the channel members. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to everybody that's commented and chatted with each other, and all of you that contribute in a positive way to Andy the Gabby Cabby. You make it all worthwhile. 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to go and get this lady and head back to the planet, as they say, and I will see you at some point tomorrow. So until then, from the Premier Inn in Hereford, toodaloo.